In this video, I want to compare the 2019 price action of Bitcoin to 2023 and show you how that is very, very similar, which would mean that the 4-year cycle is still in play, which would mean that next year in 2024, we can see big upside for Bitcoin, for crypto, for all risk markets, especially since the next Bitcoin halving is in April, so we might even see a bit of front run there. Let's dive into the charts and let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so what we have here is the 3-day chart of Bitcoin. You can see going all the way back to 2017, and we have the 50 simple moving average here in blue. Now, what is cool to see here is, if I turn on these annotations, this is every time that the price of Bitcoin gets above the 50, right? And look what happens. It doesn't happen very often. You can see here it happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 times basically in the last 6 years. So it doesn't happen very often, which means it is a pretty reliable signal. Not 100% hit rate, but when it happens, you got to pay attention. So when the price of Bitcoin is above its 3-day 50 moving average, it tends to be bullish. You can see over here, our whole 2017 bull market was above there. The 2019 rally here was above there. This little rally was above it. The whole 2020 rally was above it. And this was obviously the Black Swan event, March 2020. Okay, that was an exception. But you can see here, once it got above our whole bull market, here, when it got back above here in August of 2021, it went from 45,000 to 69,000. Those are big moves. You can see in 2017, it went from like 1,000 to almost 20,000. Here it went from 4,000 to almost 13,000. So these are big moves. You got to pay attention. You can see over here, we had it in January of 2023. It went from like 18,000 to almost 32,000. Now we got back below it, which was technically a bit of a bearish signal, but what it could end up being is a bear trap. Okay, if we get back above here, and we are not above there yet, what I look for is 2 consecutive candle closes above or below to confirm a change in direction. The reason for 2 consecutive ones is sometimes it does one that's a fake out and it comes back down. To avoid that, we look for 2 consecutive 3-day closes above or below to be able to increase the chance of the trend change being an actual real trend change and not a fake out. Okay, so if we get that and we're very close to that, let's see what happens. Pay attention, because as you can see here, that doesn't happen very often, and that leads us to large potential upside. Now, let's look at 2019 and compare that to the price action of 2023, because so far it has been very, very similar. So let me show you what I mean over here. So let's take a vertical line over here. When we reclaimed the 3-day 50 moving average in about April, you can see we had that big run that peaked over here in about June, right? It peaked at about 13,000. Now, actually, it started at the beginning of 2019. So just to keep that in mind over here, we had about a 6-month rally in 2019. Then the price basically went sideways for a long time. And then it started to run up over here in about September of 2020. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's look what happened this year. Okay, you can see over here we started in about January, same thing as 2019. We peaked over here, well, you could argue about June, so almost identical to 2019. And then what do we have ahead of us? Now, the key that we need to look at also is the Bitcoin halving date. So in May of 2020, and let's give this one a different color. So in May of 2020 was the halving, right? And you can see, so we had basically sideways until the halving. Then what happened in May? Then we started over here in September, right? So May, June, July, August, September. So 4 months after the halving, we started basically our massive, massive bull market. The next halving is set to take place here in April. Okay, so far, this is perfectly similar. Okay, this section is the same as what we've had so far in 2023. The halving, this is the section of the halving, right? The same section over here. And that is what we have to wait out now. So that's about 6 months away right now. And if this repeats in any way, then what we're potentially looking at is a major, major bull market in 2024. So now I still have the theory that I think in 2024 we could actually front run this. The reason simply being that it's based on the interest rate cycles. Once we had this major hike cycle, the markets didn't crash until after the first rate cut. After the first rate cut, we saw the 2000 crash and the 2008 crash. So we have had this major rate hike cycle for the past year, and they're projecting that they're going to start the first rate cut somewhere in Q3 or Q4 of 2024. Now, if that plays out, and that does happen indeed, maybe it comes sooner, maybe it comes later, we don't know. But assuming it comes towards the second half of 2024, assuming that previous data plays out again, 2000, 2008 crash, if they have the first rate cut within weeks or potentially months of that first rate cut, we're looking at another global financial market crash. If they cut rates over here, then there's no time for that bull market in 2025. That is my logic behind it. So, is it possible that we maybe front run this into the halving? Maybe we start running up and then go up a lot quicker than most people think, get back to the all-time high, and then peak somewhere. I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, we'll end up seeing somewhere between maybe 80 and 120,000. Like basically somewhere over here that we end up peaking somewhere like this. And then the whole market peaks somewhere at the end of 2024. And we get a massive global bear market for like 2 or 3 years. And maybe an extended capitulation period after that. That is still something that is very much on the table. And this is what I'm looking at. So number one, we need to reclaim this 3-day 50 moving average. If we get that, things become a lot more bullish based on the data. Number two is we have the halving that is going to happen. We have the 3 previous halvings that kicked off previous bull market cycles. So that is also important to keep an eye on. And then we have the potential data of the rate cut and what happened previously when rate cuts happened after long hiking cycles that led to 2000-2008 crash. So based on all of that, this is the scenario I'm potentially looking at. Keep an eye on that, and hopefully this information helps you. If it does, smash the like button, leave a comment down below with your thoughts if you have any feedback on this. And if you want to give yourself the best possible chance of success with crypto, join my VIP Discord. Join my community. The link is in the description down below. There's over 2,000 of us from all around the world in Discord. I share daily charts, updates. You get instant access to me personally, also direct access. So if you have questions, you can ask. I share updates, I share charts, I share project analysis, all of that good stuff. So if you want to learn, link in description down below. Come and sign up. 60-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. And just give yourself the best chance possible to succeed with crypto in the next 1 to 2 years. The only question remains, if we are repeating 2019, is do we get a black swan before the halving, just like we did in March of 2020? That is going to be the question that remains to be seen. I've made a few videos here on the channel about that possibility. If it happens, be sure that your risk is managed and that you potentially even have risk capital to be able to buy that dip, because if it does, March 2020 ended up being the ultimate buying opportunity. Maybe we don't get it and we just go straight up from here into the halving into 2024. That is also a possibility. Be prepared for both scenarios. Either way, I do believe that 2024 is going to be a lot better for the crypto bulls.